Hi all, this is Dr. Sage Breslin and this is Wisdom Wednesdays. Thought we'd just consider perfectionism today for a minute. I'm here in Salt Lake City installing my twins into their dorms at the University of Utah. And of course, as I am preparing to drop them off, maybe for the last time, I hear that, "Mom, can you please cut my hair before you go?" And I don't not travel with my shears, but I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're in an Airbnb, limited amount of time. Can I get it done? So there I am, trying my hardest to make sure this cut is like the best. And, my son just wants a haircut. And maybe it would have even been better just to, drop him off at Supercuts, or maybe not. Nothing against Supercuts. But I noticed that, with every snip, I was leaning into a part of me I really felt had been healed, had been resolved. And that perfectionistic, it has to be perfect. I must do this, I ought to do that, somehow started percolating up from the depths. And, I know where it's from. I'm an old soul woman. I know that this is part of my inner harmonizer. I know that for me, growing up with, pretty perfectionistic parents, but loving parents, but also, with perpetrators in my life. And I think that because I experienced sexual trauma so early on in my life, I remember feeling dirty. I remember feeling like there's nothing that's going to make me clean enough. I felt like I had to fight tooth and nail to be enough, to be good enough, to be more than good enough, to be like the others, to be accepted. And, as I got older, it made me super competitive and it made me driven. And some of those things are good qualities, but I think then there are times that they're really not. Like, I have a very, very high standard for myself. It may have been, why I developed cancer. I also, maybe not so kindly, hold that standard for other people. And that means that my kids, my team members, sometimes get a version, or at least got a version of me that was very exacting, very demanding. And that harmonizer archetype that I may have developed in response to all of that was this need to be perfect, this need to make it all just so that I would be accepted, so that other people couldn't see what was on the inside, and for the harmonizer, it's all about making it look perfect from the outside. Now, we old soul women, when we are in our healthiest, most activated state, none of that's true. It's when we get into situations where we lose connection with that old soul, with the divinity inside ourselves, with our core self, that we begin to develop a mask, develop a way of being in the world that is in response to other kinds of stressors. So for instance, I have met a long string of toxic narcissistic people, and I have had soul suckers in my life that left me confused about what my reality was and left me simply serving them. As an old soul, I love to serve, but when my life depends on serving, I lose myself. I lose that connection to my identity, to my core. And I know that during part of my life, my coping strategy, my coping style, my coping mask was to make sure that everything looked perfect, that everything matched, that everything was done just so, that every score and grade was perfect. And I realized that I was really missing life. Life is messy. Life is your kid asking you, like, as you're walking out the door, can you please Do me a haircut. Life is knowing that, I'm not a stylist. I just happened to learn to cut hair when I was about 11. My aunt taught me. Life is, knowing that those hairs aren't all going to go into place. And there's going to be a stylist in my son's life that will make it perfect, probably, because it's her job, not because she has to. I think that, the presence of life, allowing ourselves to be messy, there's something glorious about all that. You do the happy dance, in your car when you're stuck in traffic in the middle of the desert. That was me 2 days ago. Put on music, be crazy, like let it loose. That's presence. That is connecting to your divinity and to the joy. And all that other stuff, the perfectionistic stuff, it gets in the way. So I'm wondering for you, I would love to hear in the comments if this resonates with you, if this is something that you've come across, if you noticed that there were things that sort of prompted that perfectionism, either in relationship or work or both. For me, it was both until I worked to really eradicate those ties, or at least so I thought. Mostly eradicate those ties so that I no longer have to be driven to be perfect. I no longer have to feel like I have to look just so that no one can see that inside I'm a mess. Frankly, I'm right here to tell you, sometimes I'm a mess. If you're watching Wisdom Wednesdays, sometimes I am a mess. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. Does this resonate? Do you notice that there is perfectionism? Maybe that's still in your life or drove you in your past life. And if so, maybe there might be a little harmonizer going on still. And if you'd like to take my Old Soul Women quiz, I will make sure that it's in the link. Okay? Have a great Wednesday. This is Dr. Sage Breslin.